Uh, Dear Ugandans, I'm back yet again to alert all Ugandans of the looming and upcoming catastrophe that is going to hit Ugandans and Uganda as a whole. And that is nothing other than FEMINE. FEMINE is the looming catastrophe that is going to hit Ugandans and Uganda as a country in the next 5 to 10 months. I am not a prophet of doom. I'm not here to announce doom like Prophet Isaiah. I don't know, Prophet Amos. No, I'm simply alerting Ugandans of the upcoming catastrophe that is bound to happen. And that is famine. So, this video, I actually dedicate this video to the President of the Republic of Uganda. I know you have advisors. I know you have handlers. But I'm simply requesting you to pay attention to the looming catastrophe that is going to affect Ugandans, and that is famine. So, I request you that in your address today, I don't know whether you have already completed writing it, but please kindly include this catastrophe, how you are going to handle this catastrophe that is going to befall Ugandans, which is famine. At least find a way of fixing it in your address today and let us know how Ugandans, how you are going to cope, how you are going to help us with this catastrophe that is a must and will automatically affect Ugandans. We are told, and we actually know, that agriculture contributes 80% to our GDP as a country, which shows that agriculture, Uganda is an agricultural country. But I'm seeing the way we are managing this crisis of COVID-19 automatically affecting the most important sector in our economy, which is going to lead to famine. And is going to lead to food insecurity in the country. So dear Mr. President, in your speech today, on behalf of all Ugandans all over the globe and in the country, we beg you, we request you to help us and address how you are going to tackle the looming catastrophe of famine and food insecurity that is bound to attack Ugandans in the next 10 months. In fact, government should immediately come up and provide immediate solutions for this sector, which contributes 80% of our GDP, which is agriculture. I want to propose some measures that probably government can use to address this issue before it gets out of hand. Government should come up and support farmers with soft loans. Soft loans, I mean loans that can be paid within a year or two with very minimal interest rates, probably 5% a year or 10% a year. If we don't do that to support our farmers to avoid this upcoming catastrophe, then we are bound for the worst, Mr. President. And I want to request you that these loans I'm proposing should be taken from Uganda Development Bank, called UDB, or Uganda Microfinance Support Center. Because if you give these loans through commercial banks, they may not be possible for our farmers to access, because these commercial banks normally ask for a lot of interest, and there are so many requirements in there to get those loans, like we have already seen with the youth fund and all the others. So my proposal would be, if someone has, for example, an acre of land, I would propose that government should extend such a person a loan of 3 million shillings, a soft loan of 3 million shillings. The 1.5 million should be used to dig these man-made, these local wells of ours, which go deep down 40 feet, 35 feet. I know very well that 1.5 million can dig a well in one's garden that can be able to irrigate his crops. The 1.5 million should be used to plant up to harvesting time of the crops in that 1 acre of land. Why am I suggesting that we should give 1.5 million or 3 million? And why am I suggesting that we should give, every farmer right now should dig a well in his garden? These normal wells of that cost maybe around 1.5 million. That Ugandans, we have 2 seasons. The first season is the one we are in now. This season, Ugandans normally prepare their fields in February. They prepare their gardens for planting. Now, they plant in March and up to mid-April. That's when Ugandans plant their crops in this season. Now, we very well know that the curfew, this coronavirus, started hitting us from around 15th March this year up to now. It means that so many Ugandans have missed planting their crops, and the rains are getting finished. We are yet to know when we are going to get out of this lockdown. It means that very few Ugandans are able to access their gardens and plant, and very many Ugandans have not planted crops. They have missed this season simply because of the effects of coronavirus. Very few Ugandans have managed to plant small crops here and there. That is why I'm suggesting that let government come out and advance every Ugandan who has 1 acre of land with 3 million to be able to dig these normal wells of ours so that we can irrigate, because the rains are done and they are already finished. We are already out of the season of planting, and also do the planting and cater for the crops up to harvest. That is 3 million shillings. Now, my suggestion is, if this is done, if for example you give someone 3 million and this person does not use the 3 million for what is meant for, let that person be charged with attempted murder. I want to say, if government advances 3 million to every farmer through UDB and Uganda Microfinance Support Center, as long as someone has got a piece of land equaling to 1 acre and has ownership and paperwork of that piece of land belongs to that person, that should be the only qualification to access that loan. That's why we are saying this loan should be given through UDB, Uganda Development Bank, and Microfinance Support Center, not commercial banks. And now, this operation should be supervised by the military this time. This is where I support government to come up and supervise every person who will have received 3 million shillings from government as an agricultural loan and diverts the money. That is where I support government to bring the military and supervise that operation. Should someone fail, if anyone gets 3 million as a loan and does not use that money for the intended purpose, that is digging a well in their land and planting crops, that person should be regarded as enemy of Ugandans and should be imprisoned on charges of this time murder, not even attempted murder, because you've gotten a loan from government, you presented your land, and you've diverted the money to other things. That is where government should come in and use the military. And also, the case of attempted murder now can apply for anybody who will divert funds that will come from government to facilitate agriculture. So if anyone has 1 acre of land and he has paperwork for it, that should be the only requirement for someone to access a soft loan from these institutions, financial institutions, to be able to facilitate agriculture. If we don't do that, Uganda is facing a catastrophe that is going to be called FEMINE in the next 10 months. Now, there are so many people who are farmers, but we are locked up in Kampala. They have their farms up country. You find someone is living in Kampala, he has a farm in Mitiana, he has a farm in Mubende, he has a farm in Zirobwe, but that person has been locked in Kampala. He has not been able to travel to his farm. He has nowhere to buy seeds from because the shops are closed. He cannot transport the seeds to the farm. He cannot supervise his farm. Basically, that person has been locked out of planting in this season. And by the way, those are the people who have capacity to plant 5 acres, to plant 10 acres of produce. Now, government has left agriculture to the small-scale people who produce for only domestic use and subsistence farming. Those are people in the villages. They have cut out all the potential people in Kampala who have farms up country to engage in planting. Now, this is the season for planting. The days have already passed. The rains are getting finished, and we haven't planted. So if we haven't planted, how are we going to have food security in the next 10 months? A person like me, who has a farm somewhere and has capacity of cultivating 5 acres of beans, you've locked me in Kampala. I can't drive there. I can't do anything. I'm here in Kampala. It means that the 5 acres of beans I was going to cultivate have not been cultivated. I have missed them. And there are very many people like me who would have wanted, who are farmers and have the capacity of doing that. We have all been locked up here. Now, here is the circus. Food prices automatically are going to skyrocket. Automatically. Even a P1 child can understand that chemistry or that economics. Now, we are not planting. The rains are done. We are in Kampala. The lockdown is still going. Don't know up to when. The seasons for planting are getting finished. The worst bit of it is that government has entered the competition with the local traders in the food business. Government has capacity of buying every crop, every food in the market, and creates scarcity. Now, government is buying all the food from the market. It is basically competing with its citizens in the food business. Now, if we are not planting and government is busy buying every product in the market, we don't know when the lockdown is ending. The seasons are getting done. The rains are getting finished. How are we going to sustain food security in the next 10 months? So, Mr. President, kindly in your address today, if you have not fixed and addressed that issue of food insecurity that is looming, Mr. President, we are going to face a catastrophe in the country. Let your handlers, let your advisors do their work. For us, we are common people who have come out to highlight on these issues. Now, if government is buying food from people and has capacity of buying every food from the market and is already competing with the local person, for example, if I have 5 tons of beans and government is going to come and buy all of them because it wants to feed its people and has the capacity to. But mind you, I'm not planting. I'm in the lockdown. I'm at home. Now, if, for example, government was not buying food from the people and they had left that exercise to be done by the local people and to get involved in the supply and buy and purchase of the goods, would have maintained, would have avoided the food insecurity somehow. Because my beans, people can easily eat my beans, my 5 tons of beans, slowly, as they complement with meat, with other foods. In that respect, we can avoid food insecurity. But in this time, meat has been avoided. Animal markets have been abolished. It means that everybody now is depending on cereal crops. And all these cereal crops, this cereal produce, the government is busy purchasing them from the market. Now, I'm looking at a situation where we are all of us abruptly are going to get out of our houses when the lockdown is done to go and look for food. The demand is going to skyrocket. We are going to demand food at the same time. Which food will not be there? Because importations are now limited. Very few people are importing food. Government has bought all the food in the market. People are not planting. They have missed the seasons. The lockdown is ongoing. Now, when the lockdown is done, all of us will get out to go and look for food at the same time. Imagine the chaos that is going to come up. Because we shall all be there. We want to get food. We have no one to sell us the food, and we have nowhere to get the food from, because the demand will have skyrocketed, because all of us get out, demand for food at the same time. Because at the moment, all of us, we are depending on cereals. So as government is trying to address the issues of COVID-19, we strongly insist that do not underestimate agriculture, which contributes 80% to our GDP. We are going to have a catastrophe called FEMINE in the next 10 months, which is going to be worse than COVID-19. So, as I've heard ministers say, we are, first of all, we are saving lives. We are saving lives. We are saving lives. Yes, you are saving lives. I don't know whose life you're actually saving. But in case you are even saving life, you are saving life by creating fertile grounds for a catastrophe called FEMINE that is going to antagonize Ugandans and cause death to Ugandans, and the reverse will be true. So as you are saying, our priority is to save lives, save lives, save lives. We don't have even a single person who has died. And we are preparing fertile grounds for FEMINE. I don't understand. Yes, you front your idea of saving lives. You are hiding behind saving lives, saving lives, saving lives. I don't know whose life you are saving, but after saving lives, you are going to be faced with a huge catastrophe that you may not be able to handle. We therefore request, Mr. President, in your speech today, to address the issue of food insecurity that is looming in our country. So, I want to repeat, this time I want government to use the military to supervise whoever will have received a loan of 3 million shillings from UDB, from Microfinance Support Center, and diverts the money. That is where I want the military to come and supervise. And if any person misuses that money, definitely will be charged with murder, not even attempted murder, because you'll have received money from government to produce people for its food for its population, and you ate the money or diverted the money. There you deserve to go to prison for 3 years or 5. That is how this case of attempted murder or murder will apply. But as of now, we must address this issue that is looming in our country. So, I propose soft loans to everyone who has an acre of land. Let the government come up and say, whoever has an acre of land, or 2 or 3, each acre we are giving you 1.5 for planting and 1.5 million of digging a well in your garden, because already the rains are done. We are already late. And let that exercise be supervised by the military this time. The only qualification of acquiring that loan should be a land title should be a land sales agreement that belongs to that person. As long as someone proves ownership of the land, please go ahead and give that person money to do agriculture as in a way of a soft loan. So, once again, I've talked about the double entry rule. I've already said in accounting, you cannot only debit, you'll always credit as well in order for you to balance. The way it looks now, government is only debiting without crediting. Stay home, stay home, stay home. Only one side. In that way, we are mishandling and we are underestimating the consequences that will come out of this COVID-19. So, Mr. President, my last remark is, please do not underestimate our obedience as Ugandans. Ugandans, we are obedient people. We are compliant people. We don't riot. We are civilized people. And that's why I think you've managed to rule us for 35 years. Because we are obedient people. We believe in you. We have listened to you. And we have trusted you. So please, ask your people in the OPM and everywhere and government and yourself not to abuse the obedience and personality of Ugandans. So kindly, in your address, please do not forget, if you have not indicated somewhere that the point of food security for Ugandans, kindly, Mr. President, go back and your secretary corrects and adds in that issue called food security, that I think is a very big catastrophe that we are going to face in case you don't address it. Thank you for watching.